Hello everyone, I'm Mehreen and I've worked as a volunteer here in Vizag Volunteers. I worked in the team of Plasma and Oxygen Concentrators. It was a really great experience for me. I have learned a lot of things, especially being the youngest volunteer here. I didn't expect I would do a lot of work, and at least I thought I could make at least a little difference in the society. After working in the helpline, I have took so many calls, so many people. I have communicated with so many people, and I've got to learn so many new things here in Vizag Volunteers. It was really awesome experience. I've learned so many new things. Each and every day I've received like more than 60 to 70 calls. Every minute I used to receive calls, and every single call was a new experience for me. Even in Oxygen Concentrators team, I worked so much, not just me, but I had so many teammates who were in the same team. The other volunteers who also worked with so much spontaneity and enthusiasm. Our only aim was to help people, and we did that, and we got to fulfill so many patients' requirements. But it was also a little difficult for us because there were distress from so many people, like from 60 to 70 calls, and all were really worried about everyone, and we had less plasma and so many requests. So that happened, and from 60-year-old people to just born babies, all were in need of plasma or oxygen concentrators, and we were trying our level best to provide them what they needed. And in this process, I have learned so much that I can't even explain. It was a really new experience for me. In lockdown, so many of us have spent our time with our family and friends and watching movies, etc. But I spend my time taking calls, helping people, communicating with my teammates, volunteers, and it felt like an achievement for me. And even in this age, I'm doing something. It felt like that. So it was a really nice experience for me. So I like to thank Satish sir and the whole Vizag Volunteers organizations for this experience and whatever I've been through, all the hardships and everything. So first, through my father, I attended the Katha event last year. So there I saw so many different, all the volunteers here as a team, they have worked in so many projects. They have helped some gas leakage and all the voluntary they did. I was really invested in it. I was really interested in all of that, and I felt like being a part of it. So I went to Satish sir and I told him that I also want to be a part of, I also want to be a volunteer, I also want to do it, because I was really interested in doing all of that social service activity which I was really invested in. And even though I was little hesitating that I won't be able to speak with people because I'm a little introverted, so I thought maybe I won't be able to do. But even then, my spirit, my interest made me do it, and I could talk to so many people through the helpline. So when I received so many different calls, out of empathy, we will also feel like we have to do something. I was in the helpline, and I was just there to receive the requirements and send it. But I couldn't do more than that because that was just my task. But while I was taking calls and I felt like, no, I should have been a doctor there. I should have been there to operate on them and cure them completely and send them home. So many calls which I've received, I have felt the same way that I wish I could help them some way. Here I am just like a helpline person taking requests but I wanted to do more. So it made me more interested in becoming, it made me more go forward and work to become a doctor, and I'm still doing, and I'm working hard to be a doctor one day, hopefully. First, it was a little confusing for me, the oxygen bank thing, the Excel and everything. But my fellow teammates, the volunteers who were with me, they helped me a lot in telling me the whole process without any like losing patience. With so much patience, they helped me in explaining, and like every Google Meet, every meeting, it was really like knowledgeable for me. I gained a lot of knowledge, and after doing, the whole process was very smooth and very like in step by step, it was perfect. So after we got to know one by one, like all the requests are getting fulfilled, then we got a sort of satisfaction, like not just me, all the volunteers. It felt like not just them, we also got something, we also achieved something. We did like it was because of all of our work that they received, the patient received the oxygen concentrator, and it was really a like happy moment for us. The whole work, whatever we did, it paid off. It felt like that, and it was worth it. It felt like that. So it was really satisfying for us when we received the oxygen concentrators. So we were just in the helpline, but also there were other people who are in the task of giving out the oxygen concentrator, somewhere in the task of checking if the oxygen concentrator was right. So the whole process was in one processed manner, and we could know that first, if we are getting the request, we would keep the status as request, then processing, then we would ask them, we would tell them the whole process and tell them what all requirements they need, what all they need to come and submit, and they did all of that. And later like after all the process, after all the proofs which we received, they were able to get the concentrators. And because of all this, they because of the process manner, the systematic process, whatever was there in the oxygen concentrators process, it was like we had a whole documentation that the patient, like the oxygen concentrator which is rented to them, is safe. First, they had to come with Aadhaar card, address, then 10,000, which is refundable after 7 days of keeping the concentrator. And we used to go and check the concentrators also every time. Whenever there's there's a error in the concentrator also, our volunteer would go and check the concentrator. After 7 days, they could they would extend it or they would return it. So most probably they used to extend the concentrator, and we used to keep the whole documentation. Like we used to keep it recorded, how many times they extended, how many times they kept it in the house, how many days. So all of that was recorded, and later on, like we had a whole record. So that's why they were like we knew that the oxygen concentrator is safe with them, and we are able to get it in return also, because we had to give it to so many other patients also. So the process was smooth and systematic. So when we used to get a call from every attendee, we used to take all the details from Aadhaar card to the address, to how many days they need the concentrator. We used to take all the record, we used to record all the requirements and all the details of the attendee and the patient and the problem they are going through. And we used to maintain a lot of transparency among all the volunteers. We knew what our task is, and we used to keep everything in our control, and we used to back up, we used to come with the backup every time. Like if they are extending the request, we ourselves used to call them, and we used to ask them for how long they are wanting to extend. And in this process, we have managed to give all the patients a lot of help, and we were able to help a lot of patients and so many families. So every attendee who called us, we used to take the records, we used to take the details of all of them, and we used to keep everything in our control to maintain the transparency between all the volunteers. And everything was systematic, and we knew where the concentrator was. We knew how long they are keeping the concentrator, and everything was in a perfect process. So that is why we were able to do more, and we were able to know where, like, the exact location, the exact condition of what the attendee or patient. We used to also call them and ask about their saturation levels, and ask them the condition of the patient, so that to know if they still require the concentrator or not. So everything was in the same the correct process, and the volunteers and all had their own task, and we were able to do it. Like, we didn't have any confusion, any problem or any overlapping in the situation. They had a particular number. Every attendee and every patient had a particular ID number, and they used to call us and tell us about the ID number, and we used to completely back up and see if they need anything or if they have any problem. There was always continuously we used to go back up with so many requirements, and whatever they required, we were able to do it. That's why there was no problem, there was no hesitation in anything. Everything was in a smooth way, and everything was completely transparent. We had the access, and we could know what the where the concentrator is, what the condition of the patient is, where the attendee is, what is the location where the concentrator is. So in the Vizag Volunteers Oxygen Concentrator team, we have maintained a lot of transparency, and we were confident about giving out each and every concentrator. We knew the details of the attendee and the patient and the condition of the concentrator, and we were backing up continuously to know what the condition of the concentrator or the patient is, and we gave it out in free of cost, and it was really a good thing that we did as a team, that everyone were very satisfied. Every single person, every patient was very satisfied because of this, and it helped them a lot. So because of this systematic process, we were able to execute it really well, and because of the transparency among all the volunteers in the team, we were able to provide each and every patient who are in need of concentrator, each and every patient a concentrator for free of cost. So that's the reason I came out of my comfort zone, and I was able to help each and every patient or each and every attendee who are in need of concentrator by working at home and doing the same systematic process, and it was a good experience for each and every volunteer, and as well as me. Finally, I would conclude that I can never forget this experience. I would remember it every moment. It was I cannot, it was difficult, it was happy, I felt hardship, I felt happiness, I felt sadness, I felt anger, I felt fear. All of the emotions were mixed when I was in the whole journey, and the experience was really amazing if I put it in one word. So that's it. Thank you, Vizag Volunteers. Thank you, Satish sir. Thank you, Chandan sir. Thank you, Jagadish sir, especially, for giving me this opportunity and for giving me this experience, and for this wonderful journey which I have experienced.